Wow, my icebreaker. This is really ice. My blood feels a little icy right now, being as I wasn't quite prepared for this, but in a way I had been, so I welcome the opportunity to fill in here. When I learned that the purpose of this icebreaker speech was to introduce myself to my fellow club members, it gave me that age-old question, well, who am I? And I was kind of two minds as to how to respond to that. On the one hand, there's the logical, practical information about me. My name, Gloria Susan Frances Nitra Morel Pavlik Morel. Place and date of birth, Warren, Ohio, October 28, I'm not going to disclose the rest of it. My family. I am of Hungarian, Italian, and Bohemian descent. I am the firstborn child and the firstborn grandchild. And I have a sister and a brother. Marital status. I'm divorced. And while I didn't have children of my own, my brother Tony and his wife Patty were kind enough to have and raise my 3 kids for me. And I love being their Auntie Mame to my nieces, Christina and Rachel, and my nephew, Michael. Education, work experience, hobbies and interests. Kind of sounds like a verbal curriculum vitae, doesn't it? And while it's pertinent information about me, I didn't think it would really tell you who I am. Now, on the other hand, I could wax poetic about my existential stuff. I am a spiritual being, having a human experience as Susan. I could tell you about some of my past lives. I was the wife of a landowner in 17th century Northumberland. I was a journalist in New York City and a suffragette. I can tell you about how I have become this well-traveled soul and give you the enlightenment of why I am. My ragione di essere. But as pertinent as that is, too, I thought that might be a little heavy for an icebreaker. So, the pendulum of my mind was swinging back and forth, the mundane or the metaphysical. And I finally settled on this. I would introduce you not to who I was in the past, because that's who I was. And I won't tell you about my dreams for the future, because that's who I will be. Instead, I'm going to introduce you to who I am in this present moment as I stand here before you. I am Susan Morel, first-time author of a book about enjoying the pleasure of my own company. I am a woman who is very eagerly and somewhat anxiously creating a retirement career as a motivational speaker. Because when I finally leave Deer Valley Resort in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I don't really see myself retiring and doing nothing. I have decided to call my speaking business Speaking of Enrichment, because I want to challenge and teach my audiences how to find ways to enrich their lives by discovering their profound selves. When I learned that I would have 4 to 6 minutes to speak to you this morning and introduce myself, I thought, well, okay, I can squeeze something into that. But what if I'd only been given the time for an elevator speech? What if I only had 3 words to tell you who I am? I would have responded, a student of life. And if I had 2 words, it would be enthusiastic spirit. And the one word that defines the who and the what and the why of me, allow me to introduce you to teacher with a capital T.
Thank you, Susan. That's very challenging to do an icebreaker on the fly, and we really appreciate your stepping forward and doing that this week. And now we're moving on for our next person jumping in to help us out, and that's going to be David Sir.